right, you guys, the beautiful people here in Edmonton at Proform Auto have been kind enough to toss us the keys to this here 2001 Ford SVT Lightning. Of course, 5.4 liter supercharged Eaton supercharged, roots blower style, V8 under the hood. Obviously, the first thing you notice is, well, from afar, it looks like a Racer's Edge clone from the Fast and the Furious circa 2001. We're fast approaching the 20th anniversary. But if you look closely, they've done some smart marketing here and gotten a few, made a few people angry, I think, in the process. So it's deckled as Proform Auto now, but it used to belong to Jorge's collection, his Fast and Furious collection, and it was actually a Racer's Edge clone. But we have the keys, we're gonna take it for a drive, and I think we might be able to get away with burning a bit of rubber off the back there. They are fresh tires, so I feel a little bit bad, but let's go hop inside and go take it for a drive. All right, we are leaving Proform Auto here in Edmonton. We're gonna take the SVT Lightning here for a quick rip, okay? I've never, like I said, maybe I didn't say this in the intro, I've never driven an SVT Lightning. This is one of those trucks that, initially, I know we don't film a lot of American cars, or trucks for that matter, best to take the e-brake off, on the channel, so I don't actually know a whole lot about the SVT Lightning, and I actually thought initially it was quite a bit more rare than it actually is. In fact, I believe there were about 27 or 28,000 of these produced between 99 and 2004. I looked at the build date. This one is a April 2001 build date, so it might be a 2002 model year, but it does have the upgraded engine or the uprated power. So we're looking at 380 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. This is this generation of Ford F-150 is so polarizing. I find people either love these or hate the way these look. Not even specifically the SVT Lightning, but just a normal F-150. They look, it's a very bubbly shape, and it's a sign of the times, the late 90s, kind of early 2000s. But for me, this brings back so many good memories. I don't know if I was actually subscribed to the magazine, but I definitely bought a lot of sport truck magazines back when I was a kid, like late elementary school and early high school. I went through a phase where I was into the stance culture and what a stance car would be, but you guys know, the sport truck world. It was a period of time where it was a huge part of not only the automotive industry, but of the aftermarket culture. You would see guys with 4 12-inch subs in the bed of their truck, a pickup truck, right? The epitome of a sport truck, and what a sport truck means to be a sport truck is to take away everything that would traditionally make a truck and make it work. And what you're left with is something that looks sick, but maybe isn't all that fast. And that's what a lot of what I was seeing in those magazines that I bought. Wow, this thing is stiff. In those magazines that I bought, it was all form and no function. So here we are in, I believe actually the SVT Lightning first came out in 97, but the second gen, the upgraded one, was from 99 to 04. And Ford tried to do away with that form and no function. And how did they go about doing that? Well, of course, you stick a huge 5.4 liter supercharged V8 under the hood, and this truck makes no sense. This truck makes no sense for everything except for running parts. We're looking at this truck here. It is a Racer's Edge clone, as you can see. And this truck, although it played a very small part in the Fast and the Furious, what it did do is it was a period piece in that movie to bring you into the era in which that movie was made, 2001, right? Now looking back at it, it is so fascinating to look at the Fast and the Furious, because these cars and this truck specifically in that movie, when Brian O'Connor rolls up to the racer's edge, hits the curb with the SVT. I guess he wasn't really angry. He was more just in a rush to get to the street races that night. But now when we watch the movie here 20 years later, it is like it's a period movie. Oh, is that a police officer back there? No. Okay, we're good. They do have photo radar here in Edmonton. The dumbest invention ever, so I do have to actually watch out a little bit more than in BC. Yeah, but it's really cool because this is one of those cars, you see it for a couple seconds and then he gets pulled over and then brought into the police station, and we never see the truck again. But now looking back, it fits so well. The Civics, the SVT Lightning, this market for sport trucks has disappeared. You know, this was Ford's flagship F-150 in the early 2000s, the Lightning. Now, what is Ford's flagship F-150 now? Well, it's still the Raptor. It's still the Raptor. So it's very interesting to see where Ford took their trucks. And initially in the early 2000s, I feel like Ford was kind of placating a lot into the aftermarket. They saw huge potential in both, feeding into that style of car and those people who really dug the impractical but stylish look of a sport truck. And now we can make fun of them in hindsight. And obviously now, historically, trucks like the Cyclone are incredibly rare and sought after, and actually going up in value. They're known to be kind of collector's items now. But at the time, they were just looked at as kind of dumb. It was just a truck for the drag strip, or a truck that would go fast in a straight line and not really handle. But now I think people have come a long way since then and have seen what trucks can actually do. And what people want when they buy a truck is off-road capabilities, plain and simple. Now, this one actually used to be a full Racer's Edge replica and belonged to Jorge, who owns that incredible Fast and Furious collection of all the videos we're putting out recently. It was sold to these guys at Proform, and they went ahead and wrapped it themselves. They fixed up a bunch of things, wrapped the car, wrapped the truck, and took away the Racer's Edge logo and replaced it with their own. So from afar, they tell me that people come up to them, and as soon as they see this car or any of the other Fast and Furious clones they're working on, they immediately just start throwing quotes. Fast and Furious fans are the most passionate people on the planet, and that is just what they do. It's catless. That's about it. The cats have been taken out of the truck. Wow, this was not the right road. We're really putting the truck through its paces. Bilstein suspension factory on the F-150 Lightning as well. Wow, okay, yeah. She's quick. This is no joke. Way faster than I thought it was gonna be. Way faster than I thought it was gonna be. Revs just past 5.2. Your typical low revving American V8 over here. I mean, we're talking basically zero supercharger whine, which is slightly disappointing. I'm going to tell you right now, I would love to get this thing, as dumb as it sounds, I would love to get this thing on a track. I just think that would, just as a visual spectacle, that would be hilarious. This truck's no joke though. These things absolutely hold up, or have held up to the test of time, and will take on a lot of modern trucks and a lot of modern SUVs. But now that I think about it, the sport truck market as a pickup style is gone in the new manufacturer market. But SUVs like the SRT Jeep and all of these Hellcat powered things that Dodge Chrysler are coming out with recently, that is what this basically turned into. It's silly vehicles that look cool and sound cool, but only serve one purpose, and it's just excess. It's so excess. Oh, the interior's so ugly though. It's like so typical 90s Ford. In any other trim level of the F-150, I would just be, I would have said this is a throwaway American vehicle, but here in the Lightning, it's period. It's cool. It's collector. It's classic. It's got, it's got style to it. It's aged well with the performance SUV or performance truck category. Because even though there were so many made, it's a Fast and Furious truck. I mean, there's like a little bit of supercharger whine. I don't know what you could do to, I guess a pulley would kind of make that louder. It needs it a little bit. This one also doesn't have the factory grille on the front, so this is more of like an aftermarket sport truck kind of look. But it's becoming tougher and tougher to find clean examples of F-150 Lightnings. But if you have an appreciation for them, and this is a phenomenon with any car, you just begin to notice them more, and I have actually begun to notice more SVT Lightnings around where we live. It's not a car that needs to be like preserved. Let's face it, it's a 90s Ford. Inherently as a collection of parts, if you were to just look at all these parts, it's nothing special, but the sum of all these parts here, plus the Racer's Edge and Paul Walker driving it in a movie, makes it special. And makes it something that it wouldn't have otherwise become, which is so odd because we never know what silly vehicles like this. And I'm sure if the Cyclone had been featured in a prominent franchise or a prominent movie that went on to become the biggest movie franchise on the planet, that maybe I'd be sitting here in a Cyclone rather than a F-150 Lightning. Cyclone, by all accounts, a technically better vehicle than this, but my God, such an unnecessary truck, but that's why you gotta love it. Transmission actually way ahead of its time, crisp shifts. It ticks all of the boxes of a sport truck. All right, you guys, well, that was a bit of a trip. This was a time capsule video for sure. Thank you so much, Proform, for putting me behind the wheel of your beloved SVT Lightning here. Just so loud, so ridiculous. Again, check out the rest of our Fast and Furious series here on Roads Untraveled. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit me up on Instagram at Roads Untraveled, and you can see what we're shooting on a day-to-day basis.